Hello and welcome. My name is Martin Jönsson and I'm the CEO of AlzeCure Pharma, who will give you a presentation about the company. And AlzeCure Pharma in brief, we are a company who are focusing on Alzheimer's disease and pain, areas of huge unmet medical needs and needs which are growing. And we are a spin-out out of AstraZeneca and was formed when AstraZeneca left the CNS area. And we were able to do this with sponsorship from the Swedish Alzheimer's Fund. And we are present at Karolinska Institute in Stockholm, Sweden. And we are developing small molecule candidates, so-called first-in-class properties. And we have 3 platforms where we are developing therapies. The first one is alzstatin, which is where we develop a preventive treatment against Alzheimer's disease. And then we have NeuroRestore, where we develop a symptomatic treatment to improve learning and memory capabilities, where we also focus on Alzheimer's. And then we also have pain project, where we are blocking off pain signaling. And as a company, we are listed at Nasdaq First North Premier Growth Market in Sweden, Stockholm. And we have a market cap of around 340 million Swedish crowns. And cash position as reported in the last interim report of around 12.6. And we this summer also did a rights issue where we took in 58.5 million Swedish crown before emission costs. And this rights issue was very successful and was oversubscribed with more than 212%. And we are very grateful for the very large interest we had. And additionally, we have also this spring received a grant from the European Innovation Council, who have granted us 2.5 million euros for a study in Alzheimer's. And our business model is that we are a research and development company. And our goal is to develop our project through early clinical phase to then out-license 1 to 2 of our projects to finance the other projects. And our pipeline of small molecule projects looks as following. So in NeuroRestore, where we are focusing on Alzheimer's, we have a drug candidate called ACD856 to improve learning and memory capabilities. We have positive phase 1 data on safety, tolerability, and target engagement. And we have this year received a grant from the European Innovation Council to co-finance this study in Alzheimer's patients. Additionally, in our second Alzheimer's project, alzstatin, where we are developing a treatment to prevent that the individuals develop Alzheimer's, we are in preclinical phase and preparing for phase 1. And in our pain platform, Painless, we have ACD440, a TRPV1 antagonist, where we focus on neuropathic pain, but also are active with regard to an orphan indication, erythromelalgia, for which we have received positive feedback from the FDA and also orphan designation for the indication erythromelalgia. So the FDA have given us positive feedback on a potential registration trial, a so-called phase 2b/phase 3 study. And additionally, within our pain platform, we have ACD137, which is a so-called negative allosteric modulator, blocking off NGF signaling, where we focus on osteoarthritis, knee pain. And we are working in close collaboration with world-leading experts and have done so for over a decade. And as Professor Henrik Zetterberg, who is one of the world-leading researchers within Alzheimer's, and also Professor Bengt Wimblad at Karolinska Institute, as well as with Professor Maria Eriksdotter at Karolinska. Additionally, in our board, we are very happy and very lucky to have Professor Jan Lundberg, who is the former global head of Eli Lilly Research and Development, who was there for many years at Eli Lilly, and he joined our company last year, and we are very lucky to have him in the company, in the board, and Jan has also invested in our company. And looking at our Alzheimer's projects, we have two. So we have alstatin, which is a so-called gamma secretase modulator to prevent that you develop Alzheimer's. And then we have new restore to improve neural and cognitive function and improving learning and memory capabilities. And both of these projects are validated by world-leading companies like Roche and Eisai, which is a very positive validation. And looking at alstatin, where we're focusing on preventing or delaying Alzheimer's disease, we are focusing on diminishing the production of protein that builds up into plaque and which are harming the brain, breaking down the brain. So how are we doing this? We are doing this by consciously focusing on harmful protein called A-beta 42, which is produced in the brain, cleaved out, and which is forming to bigger and bigger fragments in the brain, ending up in plaque, which is harming the brain. And we are diminishing this production. And we have data showing that we can diminish the production of A-beta 42 with over 60%. And as we are diminishing this production, we are also increasing the production of A-beta 37 and 38, which have been shown both clinically and preclinically to be protective. Additionally, we have published data indicating that gamma secretase modulator, alstatin, also have shown plaque regression, so diminishing plaque burden. And this is a study that we published this spring together with research at Washington University, at Karolinska, at UCL in London. And what we have shown here is that over this study, a preclinical study, we diminished the amount of plaque with around 30%, and also decrease the formation of new plaque. And if we look at alstatin, so how does alstatin differ towards antibodies that has been approved? So ACD680, a gamma secretase modulator, is a small molecule which has a higher probability of going over the blood-brain barrier. We are also developing oral medication, so it becomes convenient both for the patient and for society, and also focusing on producing a therapy which leads to fewer side effects. Additionally, with this setup, we are producing a therapy which is suitable for early treatment, as well for a larger patient cohort. With the antibodies that are available today, only between 5 to 8% of diagnosed Alzheimer's patients are eligible. So there is a huge unmet medical need for alternative treatments. And the patient population that we are focusing on helping are multiple. We have a cohort of patients that we want to treat with maintenance therapies in patients who have developed Alzheimer's, and also to be able to offer a combination treatment with antibodies. But the ultimate goal for us is over time to offer a preventive treatment, to offer a treatment so individuals do not develop Alzheimer's disease. And how does this work? What we are focusing on is to use biomarkers, taking blood samples and seeing does the individual have an increased production of the toxic protein, and then also doing a gene screening does the patient have an increased risk of developing Alzheimer? If this is the case, then this patient is suitable for Alzstatin. So this is the easy model when it comes to Alzstatin. And what we now are focusing on is to prepare for phase 1/phase 2 study, where we test the therapy in healthy volunteers, but also on patients, and in these individuals to show how we can reduce the toxic A-beta 42 species, and also how we can increase the protective A-beta species. And here to use biomarker kits to identify suitable individuals. And the IP position for this project, Alzstatin, is very good. We are expecting to have a molecule protection until 2045, with an additional 5 years in the US through market exclusivity. And then our second Alzheimer's project, NeuroRestore, with which we are preparing for phase 2. And this project, NeuroRestore, is to improve individuals' learning and memory capabilities. And this is a project which is supported by the European Innovation Council. And what we are focusing on is that there are so-called neurotrophins in the brain, which are key for brain health and learning and memory capabilities. And the name of these neurotrophins are BDNF and NGF. And we know that individuals who are low on BDNF and NGF have a more rapid disease progression when they get Alzheimer's disease. And what we have shown is that with our molecule ACD856, which is our clinical candidate, which have successfully completed phase 1, that we can increase the NGF and BDNF signaling. And we also now have data indicating that we also have a potential disease-modifying effect, that we can increase the mitochondrial function with around 25 to 50%, that we also can induce neural proliferation, and also that we can show neuroprotection. And so when you add toxic A-beta 42, that the neurons which are pre-treated with ACD856 are being protected. And also that we are stimulating neural outgrowth, and also that we can improve synaptic health and synaptic plasticity. And additionally, we also have data showing anti-inflammatory properties. And we have shown in preclinical models that we can improve the ability to learn, the ability to store what has been learned, and the ability to remember what has been learned. And we have preclinical studies where we have done, for instance, in young mice, which I will talk to here, where we have compared the memory capabilities of old mice equivalent to the age of 75, 80, and then compare them with young mice who are at prime when it comes to cognitive function. And in this test here, we gave the mice a cohort of old mice, ACD856, and then they performed a learning test, and they learned a task, and then we tested them after 1 day. And after 1 day, there was no significant difference between the young mice and the old mice who have received NeuroRestore. But after 11 days, when we looked at the young mice who had performed the memory learning test, we could see that the young mice remembered everything. Old mice who hadn't received NeuroRestore had more or less forgotten everything, while the old mice who have received NeuroRestore ACD856 performed at the same high level as the young mice. So we could show that we can improve cognitive function. And we have data from phase 1, healthy volunteers, that the compound is safe and well tolerated, has an excellent PK profile for once daily with a half-life of 20 hours, and that we are coming over the blood-brain barrier and can be measured in CSF, and that the drug also induces CNS target engagement. So activating the brain, parts of the brain which are key for learning and memory capabilities, as well as for depression treatment. And now we are preparing for phase 2, and we have received a grant from the European Innovation Council, who are co-funding this study in Alzheimer's patients. And our patent position for NeuroRestore ACD856 is very good. We have patent protection in US, China, Japan, Europe until 2039, and also expecting to get additional 5 years of market exclusivity in the US. So a very well positioned project. And then to our pain projects, where we have two. So we have TrkA-NAM, focusing on knee pain, osteoarthritis, patient population with a very big unmet medical need, and a cohort of over 300 million patients, and a growing cohort due to that individuals are living longer and longer and are having overweight problems. And then we also have for a nerve pain, neuropathic pain, where there are more than 600 million patients. And here we have ACD440. And this project is built on science that was awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2021. And looking at TrkA-NAM for osteoarthritis, here we are developing a so-called non-opioid treatment for severe pain disorders. This project builds on that there has been antibodies, anti-NGF antibodies that has been in phase 3 and showed very good pain relief. But these antibodies also showed side effects, which led to that the FDA stopped these trials. What we have developed are a new molecule, ACD137, which has a very selective mode of action, where we are developed them so we should not hit the receptor, which has believed to cause the side effects that the antibody had, and that was P75. And we have already now positive preclinical data, and also showing both with efficacy but also safety. And here we are developing an oral pill. And here we want to compete and have develop an alternative to opioids, and developing a therapy which do not cause addiction. And this is a space where there's a large interest from big pharma. So both Merck and Pfizer has been in this space, and AlzeCure is also here, and AlzeCure is here, and we have a molecule which we think can be a possible best in class. AlzeCure are the front runner here. So with their phase 2b studies, which is ongoing, we are expecting a readout from them in 2025. Pfizer and Merck have stopped their projects, to our knowledge, since they haven't led to what they were looking for. And we have this fall presenting new data showing that the efficacy of ACD137 is in line with the antibody tanuzumab, which was in phase 3. And we have done preclinical tests where we have shown a very, very good efficacy in line with tanuzumab, but also have shown indicative data that we can also have a protective effect toward articular cartilage damage, and also that we have shown that ACD137 is also well tolerated. So here with ACD137, we have a drug candidate which has potential for osteoarthritis, as well as several other potential pain disorders. And also here we have a very good patent situation. We have filed patent and expect molecule patent protection until 2045 with an additional 5 years in the US through market exclusivity. And then we have ACD440, which is a novel TRPV1 antagonist for neuropathic pain. This is a project which started in Big Pharma, which we have taken over and developed into a gel. And with this project, we have generated positive data in patients with chronic peripheral neuropathic pain. And we have shown positive proof of mechanism and shown that in these patients who had chronic pain that we could minimize evoke the pain with around 50%, which is very significantly relevant. And we have also shown that the substance is well tolerated and suitable for continued clinical development. And here we are preparing for a phase 2/phase 3 trial now. And we have received positive feedback from the FDA on a potential registration trial in a rare disease called erythromelalgia. This we received this summer. And additionally, we have also received orphan designation for erythromelalgia, which we received in July this summer. So this project is very well positioned for out-licensing, which we now are focusing on. And what does then an orphan designation give as advantage? It gives us extra access to the FDA with advice. It also gives us at least 7 years of market exclusivity when if we have the project or indication approved in erythromelalgia. And then also that it gives us tax advantages when it comes to minimizing development costs. And also in an orphan designation, as you probably know, you can also go normally for much smaller patient cohorts and through this coming faster to the market. And then why investing in AlzeCure? We would say that with AlzeCure, we are targeting areas of significant unmet medical need. We do this with a strong team, which have been able to create what we have presented to you today. And we have platform with first-in-class properties with potential game changers. We do this with parallel investment with several projects with potent follow-up programs. So we are not a one-trick pony. And our projects have multi-billion sales opportunities. And we have evolved from an idea company into a phase 2 company. And we have also been validated for NeuroRestore by the European Innovation Council with the grant we have received from them. So with this, thank you for your attention and have a very good day. All the best. Cheers.